We're live.
Hi.
Yay. Oh, well, hang on. I'm going to introduce everybody to Anelise in just a moment. Okay. Welcome to friends, family, attendees, group members, LinkedIn members. I want to welcome everybody to our Medical Monday, which includes our weekly live show, Should You Take That Case? And I'm so glad to have you. We have a wonderful guest here for you today, Anelise Codrington Esquire. She's from Atlanta, and we're going to talk to her momentarily. First, I also have to introduce or reintroduce myself. I'm Lisa Wade, and I am a legal nurse consultant and owner of Wade Nurse Consultants, where we help attorneys make dollars and cents out of medical records. So today, I said we have a special guest, Anelise. We'll get to her momentarily. It's going to be a wonderful show. I'm sure she's going to give us wonderful experience and details about her career and how she's been managing with these medical cases. First, I want to hang over to the chat and say hello to any anyone that's attending live. Who's team live today? I think we had a Daku that was signed up as an attendee. Stephen, if you're there, put a or an S in the chat and just announce yourself so we can see you and say hello. If you are a member of our LinkedIn group, Attorney Medical Records Resource Group, there they are. And that is, I just need you to put an A in that chat so you can announce yourself and say hello. Any members of Women Owned Law, which is the group I am also a member of, I always invite everyone to attend. Put a W in the chat. If you are just an entrepreneur of any shape or size or area, please put an E in the chat just to announce yourself. But if you're not live, if you're here catching the replay, if your team replay this week, welcome and still use those comments to put in an identifier for yourself so we know who you are and we can say hello to you. Now, on to our guest. Today, we're going to, like we always do each week, we have an attorney guest or another legal professional that is going to talk to us about the medical cases that they handle, how they decide if they're going to take them, how do they process those tons of medical records that come with them, what's frustrating about that for them. And today on our hot seat is going to be Anelise Codrington. Let me tell you a little bit about her. Anelise Codrington is a litigator at the law firm of Drew, Eckel, and Farnham in Atlanta, Georgia. She practices primarily in the area of insurance defense, representing businesses, insurance companies, and individuals. Her practice areas are primarily, or I'm sorry, her practice areas are premises liability, automobile litigation, trucking and transportation litigation, general liability, and wrongful death. Anelise earned her Juris Doctor from Mercer University School of Law and is licensed to practice law in Georgia. And now I present to you Anelise Codrington. Let's see. There she is. Yay.
Hello.
Oh, Anelise, I'm so glad to have you here today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, well, I'm sure we're going to enjoy ourselves because
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything else that we can do. So
No, that's it. Just have fun.
we're gonna have a good time. Uh, like I said, I'm gonna talk to you and ask you a few questions about how you deal with medical cases, how you find them easy, difficult, annoying, whatever. But first, I just want to ask, what kind of things went into you becoming an attorney? Your life's journey that has led you to the attorney you are right now.
Well, before I wanted to become an attorney, I had multiple career choices. When I was a child, I wanted to be a teacher, and then I wanted to be a pediatrician. And I stuck to that for a couple of years until I found out when you go to medical school, you have to practice on cadavers. So I don't like dead bodies. I cannot.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh. I understand.
You can laugh. It is a funny story. I tell
Mm.
everyone all the time, I don't like dead bodies. So I just know I couldn't handle medical school.
Well, at least you figured that out before your first year of medical school, and
Yeah.
that's good. Or pre-med. That's good.
Yeah. And so then I developed a passion and interest in fashion design. I wanted to be a fashion designer. I love fashion, clothes, all of that. And but I couldn't go to fashion school in New York. I wanted to go there because that's fashion central. So instead, I went to Georgia State University here in Atlanta. And my mother told me to pursue a degree in journalism and try and get a job at Vogue. So I was kind of on that track. At the same time, though, I was also interested in law because my mother was an attorney in England. So I was born and raised there, moved to Atlanta when I was 17. And while I was in college, I just realized that journalism just wasn't for me. I wanted to learn more about the law. I took one of my journalism classes was communications law. I loved that class. We learned everything about the First Amendment, a little bit of trademark copyright. And then I was like, okay, yeah, I'm doing it. I'm going to law school. This is what I feel like I'm being called to do. And I went to Mercer University, got my JD there. And now I am here in the world of insurance defense. So it's pretty interesting. At first, I wanted to be a prosecutor. And life just takes you to so many places. You just don't know where you're going to end up. I feel like I'm a unique attorney that I like both criminal and civil law. And I just chose to stick with civil and practice insurance defense. And I love every moment of it. It's very, very interesting. And with civil cases, it's not just about the injury or anything, the substance of the case, why it's a lawsuit. It's also a lot about procedure too, and that goes a lot into everything.
Mhm. Well, I'm so glad that you ended up where you took a long journey.
Yes.
You took a long journey. But I'm going to tell you, I was there, right there with you, for a teacher and pediatrician. That led. I was on that path. Fashion design, not so much, but I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you're doing exactly what you like to do. I'm so glad you made it here.
Thank you.
Oh well. First question that I usually ask is about, and I think you told me a little bit about this already, but I ask everybody what factors go into you taking those medically related cases. And by medically related, when a legal nurse consultant says that, they mean any case that comes up where anything of a medical nature, if there's a DUI and there's a lab test, anything that has to be interpreted from the medical realm, we clump into medical cases, not so much. Attorneys do that. I know you have specific lanes that you're in, but what kind of factors go into you working on those medically related cases that come across your desk?
So with my work, the cases come from the insurance adjusters, and let's just say there's a trucking accident involving a tractor trailer, and the plaintiff has filed suit against the driver and the company who owned the trailer, and they were injured. Maybe they have some kind of spinal injury because as a result of this accident. And so, along the way, they're probably trying to negotiate with the insurance company, and it just doesn't work out that way. If they have tried that, sometimes they don't always speak with the adjuster, and then the attorney will just go ahead and file the lawsuit. So once the lawsuit is filed and the insured is served with the lawsuit, then the adjusters will hire us, they'll assign us as outside counsel to represent the insured, being like the company and the driver. And I just go into the case. I look up what the allegations are. What does the police report say? What is the plaintiff claiming in the complaint? And what are their injuries? And I compare what they've alleged in the complaint to what I see in the medical record. So I'm pretty much just assigned cases and just investigating any injury that comes up and verifying that it isn't a pre-existing injury. We have to make sure that we're not liable for any proximal causation. We need to verify whether this accident caused this particular injury and that they've never had an injury to that particular body part before in the past.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, it sounds like you don't pick and choose. Whatever is on your desk when you come in the morning.
Yes,
that's
I get it. They just give it to me and I take it and I'm like, okay, let's get started.
All right. It sounds like a good place, a good way to gain experience.
Yes, definitely.
All right. I'm so glad. And next, now you mentioned that you definitely review lots of medical records.
Yes.
And so is the same with all of us that are in this attorney medical record resource group in LinkedIn. So when those medical records come across your desk, do you have a particular routine that you follow that helps you get through those reviews of those records?
So luckily, we also have the assistance of paralegals who will review the medical records as well, and they will make what we call a medical chronology. So that's really helpful, especially when we get into the later stages of the litigation and when we take depositions and when we go to trial. And so I just gather up all of the medical records, and okay, so they went to Grady Atlanta Hospital. So let's see what happened there. I pretty much start, from the very beginning. So, okay, after this accident or after the slip and fall, I go to the very first provider that they went to. And so if they went to the emergency room, then I'll start there and I will look at the chart and I'll look at the cost of the visit. And sometimes that can be, you'll find some interesting things. In one case, I found that the plaintiff, she was driven to the emergency room and she walked in and it was a pretty bad accident. However, she didn't have any injuries. She probably had just a minor scratch. But this emergency response, I think it was a level 5 response, was activated. And I found that really interesting. Just the different levels of activations that they utilize in hospitals, depending on the types of injuries that they think that they're going to get. But then when the plaintiff arrives, then maybe it's not a level 5, maybe it could be a level 3. And I do all kinds of investigating to interpret, what do these levels mean, and all these different diagnoses that a plaintiff will receive. I always have to Google those so that I understand what it means. And I can see the same word, spondylosis. I will see that word 1,000 times, and I still have to look up the definition just so that I remember. And so I just go in order of the provider that they went to, and I will also see if any other medical providers are mentioned in the records. Sometimes that's the case, that I'll find another provider that they went to previously or in addition to this accident. And the records, they tell you a lot about a person, about the history, and just about the injuries that they've sustained in this accident, and how they could be feeling right now, how they should be feeling a year or two from now.
Mm-hmm. All right. And so when you are reviewing all of these records and you are Googling and you are coming across definitions, those that you have to go again and again to see what they mean. What do you find, if anything, the most annoying or the most frustrating or the most thing that makes you say, records again? what what is the most stands out the most for you that you find difficult?
I will say maybe if the records are just very voluminous, it takes so long, and sometimes I have to print them out, and I feel bad because I want to see the trees and I don't want to print out thousands of paper, but then my head will start hurting if I'm just looking at a computer screen every day, all day, looking at these records. So it would be that, and also obtaining the records. Most of the time, we receive the records from the insurance adjuster, and it's just basic records from the date of the incident and subsequent treatment at other providers because of this incident. And so then we have to send non-party requests to those providers so that we can get the full records, because most of the time we'll only have a couple of pages from the day of that accident.
Mm-hmm.
But then it turns out that plaintiff has been to that same hospital previous times on many occasions. And, one of those times could be a previous car accident or another fall, just anything. And so we need the records directly from the providers so that we can verify and make sure we have the complete medical history of the plaintiff. And that can get frustrating when sometimes it just takes them a long time to get the records back. It could take a couple months, and it's annoying because we have to keep sending reminders. And I don't like it when it takes that long. As soon as it's come to the deadline when I should have it, then I speak with my paralegal and I ask, have we received these records yet? Have you followed up with them? When? And just make sure that we're on it to get these medical records in.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I can see how that is. That
Yeah.
is frustrating. Large amounts of paper can be definitely annoying, and having to wait. I can definitely understand that. So, it looks like you have been, it sounds like you're kind of new to a newbie, so to speak, fledgling attorney.
I've been practicing since I was licensed in 2018, I started off my career as a judicial law clerk. I worked for Judge Shalonda Jones Parker in Clayton County State Court, and I learned a lot. I was there for almost 2 years before I joined a law firm, and yeah, just a lot about civil and criminal, and it was a great experience, a great opportunity. And so now, yeah, I've been working in law firms. I guess it's been like almost 2 years as well. And you learn something new every single day. And even when I've been practicing for 20 years, I'm still going to learn something new.
That is a very good attitude to have, definitely. So, I've been a nurse for way over 30 years. So, and I must say, you're right. Learning something new every day helps you to grow, not be stagnant, and also gives you opportunity to spill out your knowledge and understanding to those that are willing to sit still long enough to listen.
Yeah.
So what kind of advice 2 years, that's a good amount of time. You've got to have some kind of advice, yes, maybe, that you might share with other newer fledgling attorneys.
Yes, I mean, I love giving back to the legal community and speaking with first year attorneys and law students, even college students who want to go to law school. So, if you're an undergrad right now, um, and you're thinking about what you should major in, it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. When you go to law school, they really don't care what you majored in. It doesn't have to be pre-law. It can be anything you want. And so just pick something that will inspire you to keep learning. Pick a major that you will actually be interested in. You don't want to be stuck in a major that you find boring and then it's just hard to get through. Because 4 years of a major that you don't like is not going to be enjoyable. And then, say if you're a college senior, start thinking about what law schools you want to go to and open yourself up to going to law schools outside of your state. Um, it's always really good to apply to at least 10 law schools. You want to apply to all of the law schools in your state and a couple outside of state too, to widen the net. You need to have a lot of good options out there. And then, pick the right time to start studying for the LSAT. If you can, study for it and take it before your college graduation or take the LSAT, that summer of your college graduation, that's great. Do what's right for you. I took a gap year. I took a year off when I graduated from undergrad to work and, make some money. And during that time, I was studying for the LSAT and I just took my time with it because I just knew for me, I couldn't keep up with my classwork and finals and studying for the LSAT and taking the LSAT and then, applying for law school to, begin in the fall. That just wasn't going to work for me. So just find something that works for you. And then when you're in law school, try and find a mentor, who is maybe like a 2L or a 3L and join different organizations, but don't join too many organizations. Most law schools, they will have a Black Law Students Association, a Women's Law Student Association. So something like that. And, law school, we also have like moot court and mock trial competitions. And then there's law review. So, find out everything that you can do in law school and think about what you want to do. But also keep in mind that you have classes that you have to study for and you have to constantly review those law notes after class. Constantly review. It's just never ending. So you don't want to take on too much extracurricular activities when you're in law school. But it's great. I love being a lawyer, so go for it. If anyone is listening who wants to go to law school, who knows someone who is in law school or wants to go to law school, they can share this advice. Find me on LinkedIn, connect with me, send me a message, and I'll be happy to help in any way that I can, and answer any specific questions. But overall, just go for what you want and don't tell yourself no, and don't let anyone else tell you no.
Oh, that is wonderful advice. It sounds like there's no direct line or path to take to get to being a defense, insurance defense attorney. That the road is wide open, and to help keep their options open. It sounds good, and get more experience. You even have advice for veteran attorneys to, hey, keep learning, learning
I mean, yes,
every day.
and the law is so diverse. You can, if you want to do anything and everything, you can do it. When I was sworn into the Supreme Court and Court of Appeals in Georgia, we had a guest speaker who was a judge on the federal bench, and he told us, don't limit yourself to doing just one area of the law. If you're interested in many things and you want to do many things, go ahead and do all those things. I am interested in giving back, and I'm also interested in criminal law. So in my spare time, I volunteer with the Atlanta Volunteer Lawyers Foundation, and I provide pro bono representation to women survivors who are seeking temporary protective orders from the abusers when they're involved in a domestic violence situation. So there's just so many things that you can do being an attorney.
Oh, I am so glad you came here to talk to us. I really appreciate that. So, what I'm going to do is see if anybody, let everybody know if you have any questions or concerns or statements or hooray for Anelise. We're going to get ready to get them into the comments, and I'm going to put your contact information in the comments if that's okay with you, Anelise.
Yes.
All right, let's try it. Let's see what happens. Ta-da! Oh, it doesn't support comments on private videos. I'm not sure what that means.
Well, I might be able to. So let me see if I can.
Good, you do it.
I will try.
We're negotiating technology here. But while you're doing that and people are getting ready to answer or ask you some questions or give you a hurrah in the comments. Oh, good. You got it in there.
So that's in the private chat.
Oh, good. Oh,
yeah.
Chat. Oh my gosh. How did we do that? All right. Let me try it again one more time. Let me see if I can get it in there. Why the? All right. You know what? I'm gonna.
Well, I will just. It's a short email, very easy.
Well, how about this? I'm going to put it in the description, our YouTube description box. So people can go there. Yes, go there. Well, when you go there, like us, subscribe so you can come back next week. Easy peasy. And you'll find Anelise's contact information in that box. And while we're waiting for questions from our viewing audience, let me say it's time for a little commercial break or a sponsor break. And by sponsor, I mean me. I am, like I said, Lisa Wade, legal nurse consultant and owner of Wade Nurse Consultants. And as was mentioned here today, reviewing medical records can take a lot of time. They could be a huge, voluminous amount of records. And at Wade Nurse Consultants, we can help you just sort through those things so quickly and let you know if the records that you have are complete let you know what is extraneous information and where to find the meat and potatoes of those injury related cases with in a timely manner. So what we are offering this week is a free 15-20 minute let's say medical case strategy call. I'll have my let's find my my email address. Thank you for dealing with me and the technology. Not completely smooth yet, but we're getting there. There is there. There is my email, lisa@wadenurseconsultants.com. Just get over to me and let me know that you want to set up one of those quick calls, and we can help you carve out and hone a really quick and cost effective method to review your medical records. Now back to the comments. The commercial's over. Now, any questions or statements or hoorays for Anelise, which I'll give you. Hooray, Anelise.
Oh, thank you, Lisa.
All right. And so if we are not having any comments live, if you're not team live this week, if you're team replay, feel free to drop any questions or concerns in the comment box and I can get them to Anelise or answer them myself. So I'm just going to remind you too, we do have that attorney medical record resource group in LinkedIn. Anelise is a part of that.
Yes.
She's dropped a question in the chat.
Yes. I have a question that Google cannot answer.
Yes, or not really answer sufficiently.
Yes, because I'll find something and I'll still be confused. I'm like, okay, let me just ask Lisa. I need to ask
someone. Good. See, I can do that for you. That's fine. And if anybody's out there that wants to join our attorney medical record resource group, just get to LinkedIn and plug us in there.
Yes, so all on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is amazing.
We love it. We love it. And what else? There is, I think we're at the end of things today, Anelise. And you have been a stellar guest.
Oh, thank you so much.
You have advice with the newbies and the veterans as well.
I'll try. I mean, I learn a lot more from veteran attorneys. Trust me. I have so many mentors. You can never have too many mentors. So,
I'm down with that. I agree with you 100%. So it looks like we're winding up. We don't have any questions in the chat right now, but like I said, if your team replay, put that in the comments below. Yes. Like us, subscribe, and come and catch us. Because Anelise, will you come again?
I will come again. I will be here again.
All right.
Absolutely.
And keep some of those medical cases that you learn, not the specifics, but the generalities. So
yes, I mean,
learn from you.
But also interesting. So
yeah,
something new.
I'm so glad you came here today. And like I said, we'll be back again next week, Monday, 5:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come and join us for another episode of Should You Take That Case? Bye.
Thank you. Bye.